Mysterious lover. Let me introduce myself to you. I am Whale. And I am a married man and father of a child. I am waiting for a girl on the way. My wife is pregnant, but she suffers and makes the whole house suffer because of the fluctuations of pregnancy and what happened to women during that period. So I used to spend a lot of my free time in the cafe until I became a regular and well-known customer from the staff and customers. I also became familiar with customers like me who stay in this cafe for long periods and come constantly until a kind of acquaintance has developed between me and the place and its patrons and employees. I kept going to the cafe. But in the past few days a new customer started appearing in the cafe and it was very attractive to the eye. She comes carrying a book and spends her time reading it, and as I follow her, I know all her habits. What she drinks and what books she finished reading until she noticed that completion and follow-up to her. This girl had a delicate and calm beauty. She wore glasses and her hair was short, and from following her I knew her name and he was Salma. And I decided to start transferring knowledge to a new stage, so I paid her request in the cafe and she thanked me with a nod of her head, and here I was more encouraged and came to talk to her directly, and she was somewhat surprised to find out her name, her favorite drink, and the books she was reading. I laughed after the torrent of information that I told her about, and I told her that she was a very different girl, which sparked my curiosity towards her, and from here we started our actual acquaintance. It was time to leave and she gave me a smile that killed me and told her that we will meet tomorrow, but in my house I own another house other than the marital home, but she refused and remained in this state for a while until I finally accepted, and how happy I was at last I agreed. We met according to the appointed time and I went to her and brought her in my car and we arrived and she entered the villa to inspect the villa and I went to the kitchen and when I came back she was asking me a question I knew perfectly, "Who are these?" And she was pointing her hand at the wall. However, I did not give her the opportunity, as with my brutal smile that increased her terror, I accelerated her with a strong blow between her eyes with a hammer, and she fell and followed her with another until she lost consciousness. But she did not die, otherwise I lost my pleasure. I brought her into the room and wiped the blood and brushed her hair and pictured her like the rest. Yes, it is me. I am a fan of collecting the bodies of girls. This is my way of taking revenge on those who betrayed Sana, whom I loved. She betrayed me and started with her. She was my first victim and the first corpse in my selected group. Salma regained consciousness and was tied to the chair with her mouth closed, and I introduced her to her fate. And I introduced her to her companions who had preceded her to the same fate in the corner of the room, and she took a look of terror at them and was screaming muffled screams because her mouth was gagged, waiting for my new masterpiece to be added to my collection.